Warning, censorship. Warning, censorship.
Right now, people are kind of, things are open. Why don't you just drop this? You're open, so what do you have to worry about? Well, I'm worried about the next time, and the time after that, and the time after that. So if we don't do something soon and get some sort of changes happening, we're just going to be going through this all over again. There's going to be people like me who are getting threatened with fines and jail time.
We're behind him when it comes to the, measures that he's had to take to make this happen and to prove that all business is essential in Alberta.
Sheila, Gunn, Reid for Rebel News here in Mirror, Alberta at the first full day of restaurant reopening. However, you wouldn't know it here in Mirror because it's been business as usual here for over 2 weeks since owner Chris Scott decided to reopen his restaurant in defiance of the lockdown restrictions on dine-in service issued by the Alberta government mid-December. Now, since that time that Chris reopened, dozens of other restaurants in Alberta have followed Chris's act of civil disobedience, and that wave of restaurant reopenings forced the government into the announced reopening today. But the restaurant rebellion was not smooth sailing. Chris and then many other restaurants just like his have been plagued by visits from the police, closure notices from Alberta Health Services, expensive tickets, notices to appear in court, threats to have their health permits to operate and liquor licenses revoked. But for all of these restaurants, their staff, their customers, and their communities have rallied around them. And so have we here at Rebel News by providing top-notch legal assistance at no cost to Chris and those other restaurants who reached out to us through fightthefines.com. Now, I was on hand at the restaurant today, first and foremost, to take a victory lap around Alberta Health Services and the authoritarian government bureaucrats who very nearly destroyed the entire hospitality industry to prevent some deaths that are sad, but by and large taking place nearly exclusively in Alberta nursing homes. Anyway, check it out. Chris, it is the first day of being able to legally open, and I think it's in no small part due to your diner rebellion that you led. What does it feel like?
It feels pretty good, but I still have a problem. The problem is that we're only allowed to legally open. We're being allowed to open, and I don't know, that doesn't sit well with me, nor does it with a lot of other Albertans.
Now, the provincial government has already said that if the variants of COVID take over, they're going to close you down again.
Well, and that's my I don't know about a fear, but that's my concern going forward is that right now people are kind of, things are open. Why don't you just drop this? You're open, so what do you have to worry about? Well, I'm worried about the next time, and the time after that, and the time after that. So if we don't do something soon and get some sort of changes happening, we're just going to be going through this all over again. There's going to be people like me who are getting threatened with fines and jail time. I know the lady down in Hannah, she had a real hard time. She got some crazy threats. They were threatening felony charges and pulling passports and just ridiculous things for her being open, selling chicken wings. And it can't continue. It can't be allowed to continue. So even though we're open, there's a lot of restrictions that many of us business owners and many Albertans don't like. And I think we have a lot of work to do going forward to make sure that this can't happen.
So what sort of work and what sort of changes are you aiming for?
Well, ultimately, I think we need some sort of legislation that protects business owners and protects Albertans from sweeping mandates that affect them. So my view is that if the government is going to impose restrictions that affect industry, they have to have industry at the table. We have to be involved in this discussion, and it can't be a one-sided thing. We have to be able to put our input in.
Now, I saw yesterday in the news that there's this organization of, I think, close to 50 independent restaurant owners who are saying, no, we need to lock down again for 5 weeks, and that the government should listen to them and not people like you.
Well, if that's what they believe, then I would encourage them to shut down for 5 weeks. If that's where you're at, go ahead and do it. I've always been a proponent of choice, and if I would never interfere with their choice to do that.
Now, what's next for you? Are you done with activism, or is this just the start of something much, much bigger?
I don't see myself as an activist per se. I just see that there's a problem. There's a lot of people who agree with me and support me in that, and I want to work to fix it.
Are you bringing back the drive-in? I would like you to bring back the drive-in.
Yeah, that's been in the works for a while here, but it was so busy over the last few weeks, and then it was so cold. It just wasn't feasible. But sooner rather than later, we will be doing some more drive-ins.
Well, I'll let you get back to it. I know that you have customers who came from quite afar who want to talk to you.
Yeah, a fellow over here, he drove all the way down from High Prairie, so I better go and say hello and thank him for his business.
Can you tell me why you drove so far to come to support Chris?
Well, I drove this far to support Chris because I think it needs to be done. And what's 2 hours out of my time? 2 hours out of my time to come here, sit down, have a chat with lovely people and have a good meal. I think that's worth it in my mind. I think what Chris is doing should be happening across Alberta, and many more people should follow suit as well and get this country and this province back up to where it was. A lot of us are missing that human interaction and good conversation. Well, come on down here and let's have a good meal and a good conversation. And hopefully everyone, like I said, stands up and does the same thing Chris is doing.
So why did you come today to the Whistle Stop?
We just wanted to show our support for a business that's standing up to support all the local, or all of the small businesses across Alberta. We also just wanted to let him know that we're behind him when it comes to the, measures that he's had to take to make this happen and to prove that all business is essential in Alberta.
I really support them, and I appreciate what they're doing for everybody, standing up for the small people like us that just can't take it anymore.
Chris is standing up, and we need more people like this. If we're going to be able to survive this and come out of it looking ahead, we need to do this. And, I think people need to open their eyes to see what's going on and do the same thing.
Now, what do you think about the, constant visits from the RCMP, the constant visits from Alberta Health Services, even after the government announced that restaurants could reopen? They were still paying Chris a visit and issuing him notices to appear, I guess just because of a timeline and a date on the calendar.
I think it's a colossal waste of our resources in Alberta. Absolutely a colossal waste. I don't support it. Yes, this virus is very real, and yes, there is measures that have been taken or that need to be taken, but I believe they can be taken safely without all of these closures and whatnot. I think small business in Alberta has been doing a great job at not spreading the virus, and there's just no evidence of it, so I think it's a huge waste.
Do you have a message for the provincial government, who they seem to be considering more lockdowns going forward?
My message to the provincial government would be that no, don't. We're dealing with too much right now, and if they go ahead and lock us down even further, we'll never recover from this. You will see more mental health issues. You'll see more domestic violence. You will see more suicides than you've ever seen before. We need interaction. We need people interaction. We need to support our local businesses. These big chains are just making money over this. And financially, the bigger operations are just making money off this. And it's the smaller people, the working class, that are suffering. And what Chris is trying to do here is to get us, our smaller class and working class, back up. And no. As far as the provincial government, my message is no, don't do that. You will cripple this province.
Why did you come to the Whistle Stop?
To support local business, especially this business, because they're defying government.
Now, restaurants are allowed to legally reopen today, but I think Chris is responsible for that.
I would tend to agree with you. I would like to agree with you. I would like to think that's what happened. He's been quite controversial, and he's definitely made a name for himself. I'm very happy about that. Somebody needs to draw attention to this. It needs to end.
As you can see, there's a long road ahead of us before Alberta entrepreneurs are truly free from the medical tyranny being imposed on them by the Alberta government, a supposedly free enterprise conservative government. Now, Rebel News is going to be with these rebellious business owners every step of the way. If you're a business owner who is going to defy the lockdown restrictions, and I'm looking at you, Alberta gym owners, reach out to us at iwillopen.com and let us tell your story. And if you need help, we'll help you fight back too at fightthefines.com. For Rebel News, here in Mirror, Alberta, where the battle for burgers in the Great Restaurant Rebellion of 2020 was waged and won, I'm Sheila Gunn Reid. If you've received a lockdown ticket, do not pay it, fight it. Plead not guilty, then reach out to us at fightthefines.com.